This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Well, we're continuing on with our painting sessions for Frosthaven. And, I was going to say Frostgrave. I'm so used to saying Frostgrave. Frosthaven. I mean, what's going to be next? I don't know. But we're going to continue on, and we are going to do two that seem to be pretty popular. That is the Deathwalker, okay, and the Boneshaper. So I'm going to make these nice and easy for you so you can get them to the table real quickly. This is not going to take you long. This is just very, very simple paint schemes, and it'll be nice on your table, and it'll make a big difference. It really does. So, without further ado, let's show you how to do it. One that we're going to work on is the Boneshaper here. And what I want to do is use a contrast, and I'm going to be using a Basilium Gray, which really works very, very well over gray. I primed both of these gray, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to make this quick and easy, okay? So what I want to do is I want to go over the entire figure almost, okay? I don't mind if I hit the base, because remember, we're going to fix those bases later, but I want to be very careful. I don't want to hit her face at all, at all. And I want this Basilium Gray to kind of work its way in there. I want to be a little careful with it around this. She has like this little blade thing, and I'm just going to go over that later with, I believe, like a temple blue. Be careful around her neck, okay? Because that's a total different color, and you really don't want to drown her out. She's really kind of wispy in a way from the looks of the picture, and I really like what they're doing here. So I really want to be careful, and I want to do this thing the right way, especially her face, which has like this purple tint. So if I go over with the Basilium Gray too much and I catch her face, well, guess what? It's going to affect what I'm trying to do otherwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the rest of the body here, and then when I'm done, we're going to come back again, being very, very careful what I do. You can hit this blade thing here, but you want to know where it is, or this wand, whatever it is that she has, that she's actually using here, and just get underneath there. And this gray just goes over the gray just perfectly, because it brings out, there's just a level of depth. It gives you a bit, it doesn't go on, and the gray highlights kind of give it that dimension that we are looking for always. Okay, we always talk about looking for a certain type of dimension. You can really, these contrast paints, whether you use Army Painter or you're using the GW ones, really work. And Basilium Gray is perfect for what we just did right here to get our Boneshaper right where we need it for the time being. So we're going to let this dry, and then we're going to come back and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So for our Deathwalker, I wanted to change things up. I went over with a Cygor brown over the gray, and I kind of like what it does, and you just really have to move it around a little bit, okay? And you want to make sure, now the staff I don't want to hit with that Cygor brown because I want to go over with that Basilium Gray, but I want to make sure I get this brown in here first. And you gotta, again, this is a thing where you just gotta kind of be careful. You don't mind hitting some of the other things, because you're going to highlight those out later after this dries, and we'll be able to get this going. So I'm just getting this in here real good. Oh, they got a little stump there I can use the brown for, because we're going to do our snow scene again on these. And right now this is just a base coat for what I want to do. I know that we're going to bring out certain things. We're going to highlight stuff and really make it shine for sure. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to come right back. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to take some of this laminate medium. It's a clear, it cuts things down a bit, and I'm taking a contrast Megos purple, And I wanted to use that for her skin, so I just put it over here. And as you can see, I just used just a drop of each because I don't need it for much here, okay? Because all I'm going to do is just use it on her facial features, and that's all I want to do. I just want to get it in there. I'm not worried if I get it on that black area, but I just want to just take what I can and just give that just a nice little purple shade in there, and that works for me because it gives off this kind of grayish purple to her, and that's kind of what I want to go with. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on. I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then we're going to work on her hair, and then we're going to come back and work on some of these other parts here. The next thing I want to do is I want to take the Magos purple, whatever they want to call it this week, and I just want to get some of it on here, okay? I don't want to cut it at all, okay? All I want to do is just get a good amount of it there, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the Basilicum Gray with it, okay? Because I'll show you why in the picture in a second, but all I'm doing is just kind of going over it, giving it this purplish type of hue to it, okay? It doesn't take away from the gray or the darkness of the gray, but it kind of highlights things a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit here. I don't want to get her boots. I want to have some separation, and I don't want it to overpower anything. So I want to be careful. I don't want to get it on her face and get it too strong because I want to keep that gray purplish thing that I got going on here, okay? And that is exactly what I'm looking to do, okay? Nothing too complicated here, folks. Nothing too complicated. So I'm going to let it dry, and then we're going to come back to it. Now, I promised you I would show you, you can see how it has this reddish purple outline on her entire body. So I'm working with that, and you're going to see what I'm going to do where I'm going to bring that out a little bit more. But we're going to switch over to Deathwalker now. She carries this thing and this jar, and they are very like rust, like a rust gray, with highlights of a little lighter, which I'll show you how we'll get there. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to paint this globe here, rust gray, and then she has this thing, and I want to be careful with it, and I'm just going to add that in there, okay, for a little depth. But there's a cover on there that's gold, so I want to make sure that I take care of that. And I'm going to get in between the arm. Again, we want to be very careful because we don't want to hit any of the work that we've already done and make it twice as hard for us, right? So just nice and easy, boom. All right, there we go. And that's all I'm looking to do there for now. So I'm going to let that dry as well. Next, I'm going to bring in a little Hexwrath Flame. This is a very good technical paint. While she's drying a bit, I can get her hair done at least and just have them all dry at once. So when I start highlighting things a little bit, it'll work out. And you want to be very careful again, okay? And just work her hairline. All right, and boom. Just get that in there really good. Just let the paint do all the work, folks. That's all you got to do. Just let the paint do all the work. All right, you just sit back and drive it. See, my grandson says, yeah. You can hear him calling for his father. All right, and just getting that in there, perfect. That's all I want to do. Just get that in there nice and tight, and that way we got it working, okay? And we'll start highlighting out once this all dries. So the next steps that I took is I took some Kevlar's flesh, and I went over her elbows, of course, which are exposed. But looks like she has gloves on, but I wanted to put hands in there to break it up a little bit. Did her face right here. Just coming in here a bit, okay? And then I took some Xandri dust, and I'm going to use that as the basis for her hair. All right, and I can just dip in here and just go kind of right over what I've already done, of course. And I just put a second coat on here a little bit. She has some horns here that looks like they're gold. So the Xandri dust, I'm painting everything over that. And the reason I'm doing that is it's going to make the gold come out stronger when I put it over there. Okay, so I want to just kind of take away the gray. That's the one place I want to take the gray away, and then work out from there. All right, so again, just Xandri dust and some Kesla flesh, and we're going to let that dry. Now the next thing I did, and I'm just going to zoom a little closer here, is I already put their sand base on because right now I'm going to be highlighting pretty much, and I just wanted to get that nice and solid so I can make it the white base. If you don't know why I'm using this gray sand, check the prior video and it'll kind of explain everything for you. What I'm going to take now is some Athonian camo shade, and her hair is a little darker and a little more streaky, and I really like on the Boneshaper, I want to get her hair just a hair darker. So I'm just going to take this and really kind of work this in here, and I think it's really going to stand out, getting that shade in there. There we go, into the grooves, and it just gives it a little bit more of a darker green tone that I wanted, so it stands out a little bit better. So we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back to it. Now this part you want to be very, very careful. Now I have this Astro Wrath Red, and it is a dry brush paint, and all I want to do is get it on here and really, I want to take it off as much as I can, but have some in there, because you got to be careful, because in this thing, she has kind of like this red power going on here, and there's like little red spots through her thing, and I think it really helps a lot. So all you want to do, okay, and you want to be very smart about it, is just very lightly touch some of those areas, those highlight areas, the tips of her fingers, you know, the edge of this cape here, you know, and just kind of be very, very careful what you do here, because if you do too much, it can actually ruin everything that you've worked to build out here. And so I'm just tickling it ever so lightly and just getting the high points. And that's all you kind of want to do. If you can get those high points to stand up a little bit, it really sells that miniature. And that's all we're trying to do, is create the illusion of depth and this power of some sort. Just very easily. I don't want to get it on her boots because I didn't see any of it on her boots. Right through there, through the back of that cape there. And I'm pretty happy with that. That's just enough. Just enough. And there we go. I think that's pretty good, and you know, that's playable. We could put that on the table. And it didn't take much. It didn't take long at all, folks. All right? Some contrast, a little touch-ups here and there, little snow base, boom. There we go. Boneshaper, ready to go. The final thing, one thing I did change is I took some Scrag Brown. Well, let me pull it out here. Yeah, Scrag Brown, and I went over her hair instead. I was going to leave it kind of blondish, but if you look on the back here, it has kind of like a brownish, reddish tinge, and I think that just worked a lot better in there. The next thing I'm taking is some Corvax White, and I'm really just taking it off the brush. I hardly want any on here because I really don't want to take away from what I'm doing here. And I just kind of want to just hit the edges of her thing, just to bring a little depth here, and just bring a little bit more perception, if that's the way you could put it, into her outfit, and bringing it more out and prominently, and just so lightly. I just don't want to if you go too heavy, you're going to mess it up really, really pretty badly. Well, my daughter called and interrupted what we were doing there for a moment. But again, like I was trying to say, I just wanted to get a little bit on there. I might even throw just a hair, a little bit of shade in there, just a little bit to maybe dull it down. But I'm kind of thinking just leave it the way it is. I'm kind of happy with the abstract look, and it kind of works for me, to be honest with you. And I like darkening her hair a little bit, and that really worked for me. So, you know, a couple of really simple paint jobs to take care of the Deathwalker and the Boneshaper. I really like them, and guess what? We've got a ton more of these guys to do. We're gonna do more each and every week, so we're gonna have videos all the way through until we paint everything. One of the best things about Frosthaven is it's the right amount of miniatures, folks. It's the right amount of miniatures. So we'll give you a little bit of a close-up here, and then from there we'll go up top and close this out. So here's our Boneshaper. I'm really happy how she turned out. The little red highlights there that really work there, and the different shades. I like how the green hair. You know, I'm just looking for tabletop quality, and that's all I want to do. So the Boneshaper, as you can see, just a very, very, very another unique and very cool character from Frosthaven. So there you go, folks. How to paint the bone. I want to make sure I say them right. The Boneshaper and the Deathwalker for Frosthaven. Very easy. We're gonna be doing this all through January, the end of the month here. I'm gonna do them 2 at a time until we do the complete set here, just so you have a blueprint for those of you that are interested in trying painting. Maybe you've never painted before. This isn't a master class or anything like that. If you've painted before, this may not help you as much, but I really wanted to do something for people who normally don't paint, because a lot of people that play Frosthaven, I feel, don't paint because it's more, you know, it's a great dungeon crawler that brings in a lot of people that normally don't play dungeon crawlers. And if you're a professional dungeon crawler, you know about painting miniatures, because that's half your life in being a fan of dungeon crawling, that's for sure. So until next time, when we pull out our next 2 figures, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.